Alright, what's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Blue Games. We're back for another one, and today I'm going to be showing you just basically what you get with a fresh install of Infinite Flight. Also going to talk about, is it worth it? Is it worth the money? Is it worth buying a subscription to this Infinite Flight mobile simulator? So I'm going to go ahead and get into it and show you guys what you get when you first get it, for you guys who may not have it. Now I'm going to be able to show you this because I just got a new phone, and before I was not able to really show you this because it looks a little bit different after you've already bought the subscription. So I want to show you guys what it looks like when you first download it before you decide whether or not you want to buy this. So first of all, we can start on the left side. This is the home screen. So once you load in Infinite Flight, this is what you see no matter what type of phone you have. iPhone, Android, does not matter. So on the left, you can see a logbook, and this is going to show all of your recent flights. So as you can see, I've only done 2 flights since I've gotten this new phone. I only had 3 minutes of flight time. So you're also going to see settings. This is where you're going to change all of your settings. I'm going to go through all that later on, but as where that is, tutorials, I'm not going to click on that. It's actually going to take me to the website. The tutorials will show you basically anything you need to know about Infinite Flight, and also a lot about aviation when it comes to air-to-air refueling, how to talk to ATC, how to even land a plane. All that kind of stuff is there on their Infinite Flight forums, and the community is great. I'll tell you that the community is very, very helpful. They have some amazing developers and moderators, and I'm not just hyping them up. I am not one of them. I'm just telling you that was my experience. And about, obviously, it just shows you information about the company. So head over to the right side. We're going to go fly solo. So when you first download Infinite Flight, now the first initial buy-in of Infinite Flight is, I believe, $4.99 USD. That's US dollar. So when you first buy the app, this is what you get. Technically, you can only fly solo. Now, before you turn the video off and you're like, wait, what? I pay $5 to only pay, to only fly solo. Well, let me go ahead and show you guys what you get for the $4.99 USD. Now, you go ahead and click on Fly Solo, and obviously on the top right, you're going to see I'm not logged into Infinite Flight Pro. Infinite Flight Pro is the subscription of Infinite Flight, and we'll go into that a little bit more later. So on the left side, you'll see this is where you choose your aircraft, the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, and then below that is the airport, EHAM, which is Amsterdam, and also that's where you'll be taking off. So you can go ahead and click on that. We're going to start with the airport first, so I can show you guys what scenery and what regions you get for that. So right now, as I clicked on EHAM, so it loads me into Amsterdam. As you can see, you go to the map. It's very easy. All you gotta do is click on a parking spot, and that is where your aircraft will show up. So I hit that. We'll be starting at Terminal Delta. Oh, sorry, wait, there it goes. Terminal Delta 51 Alpha, or D1 or D51A is the terminal we'll be parked at in our Cessna 172. So it's very easy, but this is not a tutorial on how to use it. Just basically, I want to show you what you actually get when you download this app. So that's Amsterdam, and obviously these are all the airports out and around Amsterdam. But the part that I want to get into is you see this green box surrounding the area. What that is actually a bounding region. That is basically a out of bounds. So basically, you can only fly within this green box. All right. So all the way down. So I believe this is Brussels, Echo, Bravo, Bravo, Romeo. Yes, it is. So basically, you can only fly in this region. But no, not only this region. There's multiple regions around the world you can fly in. So it's Amsterdam. If I zoom out, I'm just pinching the phone just to zoom out a little bit. You can see, scroll around the world, you see a few more little green boxes. So you got one over here at in the U.S., Charlotte, North Carolina. That's on the east coast of the United States. But these are the places that come with the initial download and install of Infinite Flight on your mobile phone. Also, we got Chicago, and I believe above that is Oshkosh. Yes, it is. And those are connected, so you can fly to and from both of those. Denver is right over here. Denver, Colorado. We love Denver. Beautiful place. And then on the left side, we have Southern California. That's going to be San Francisco right there. And then that's all the places that you get on the initial download for Infinite Flight. And I'm going to go a little bit more into that in a second, because I know you already have questions. Then we also have Sydney, Australia down here. That also comes with the initial download. And I think there may be one more. That might be it. Yeah, that is all the places that you get to fly for the initial download of Infinite Flight. Now, one question you're probably wondering, so can I fly to and from these boxes, right? Like, so could I take off here at KCLT, Charlotte, North Carolina, and fly up to Chicago? Well, no, you can't. You cannot, you cannot fly outside of these bounds that are put here. Like, if you try to fly out there, you're not going to find Chicago. Like, you'd never get there. So, unless the boxes are connected like these two. So Chicago and the Oshkosh region are both connected. So you could fly from Chicago up to the Oshkosh region, but you cannot fly from Chicago to the Denver region. All right, so you cannot hop between green boxes unless the green boxes are touching. Okay, all right, so now we got that out of the way. Those are the regions that you get. We will get into an aircraft here in a second, and I will show you guys what those regions, not all of them, but what they actually kind of look like as far as quality and things like that. And also, as you see on the bottom of the screen, it's kind of promoting an upgrade to Infinite Flight Pro, and what that is basically you upgrade to Infinite Flight Pro and you get the multiplayer, and we'll go into all that, but basically you'll get the entire globe if you do the upgrade. All right, so next we'll go to the aircraft. So before we hop into an aircraft, I'm going to show you what you get. So first of all, Infinite Flight has a ton of aircraft and a ton of livery. They spent so much time on this game, and a lot of people always ask, why is this game not free? And again, man, I'm not a part of the team who creates this game, so I don't get paid for anything I'm saying in this game. I'm not promoting Infinite Flight. I'm not trying to get you to sell it. I don't get, like, it does not help me at all whether or not you play Infinite Flight or you download it or you buy it. It does not help me at all. I'm doing this because I enjoy the game, but I want to show people who kind of are on the fence about getting it. I want to show you guys the real side of it, because all you see when I'm flying is you see me flying all around the world in a Airbus A321, but you want to know, okay, so what does it take for me to get there? That's what I'm going to do for you right now. So as you see on the left side of your screen, we have, you know, all the Airbus family, and then it has a little locks next to it. Well, obviously, if it has a lock next to it, you don't own it yet. But the one right here that says little download icon, that's an aircraft that comes with the initial download of Infinite Flight. So you do not have to have an Infinite Flight Pro subscription in order to fly this aircraft. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and hit free download, and boom, that's going to download to my my device, and it only takes a few seconds. So we're just going to continue. So obviously we have the Airbus here. We could also scroll down, and you see all the liveries that come with it. So you see Swiss, you see Philippines Airlines, Gulf Air. You see all these. I mean, there's American airline here somewhere. That's one of my favorites for Airbus because I am an American. So anyway, so we're going to scroll down. You can see you get the A380. This also comes with the initial buy-in. Super Decathlon. You get the 717-200. You get the 737-700. The what else do you get? And all these, a lot of these aircraft are all, like I said, they come with the Infinite Flight Pro subscription. This is the old CRJ-200. Which only has one livery. I personally do not like that aircraft. That's my personal opinion. But I'm excited about the new one coming out because I know I'm going to like that one. There's a Cessna 208 Caravan, and then the SR-22 is also part of the package. You get the A10. You will get the P-38, you will get the FA-18, and the Spitfire MK. I think I missed a Boeing. I believe you get a Boeing 737. I might have mentioned that, but if in case I didn't, you do get the Boeing 737-700. And that's an aircraft I do know I'm going to fly because, again, I am an American, and Americans, you know, we fly a lot of Boeing aircraft. So, all right, so those are the aircraft you get. We're going to do real quick test flight. It will not be a full flight. We're just going to get ourselves up in the air. We're going to actually take the Airbus up, and we're going to take the American Airlines Airbus up. We're going to go to Amsterdam, and we're going to basically take off straight from the runway. We'll use runway 18 left. So click on 18 left or tap on 18 left, and so you can see my aircraft icon pops up right there, and it's going to put me right there. I'm going to hit OK, and then we hit fly. That's about it. We'll wait for the loading screen, which does not usually take very long. Boom, look at that. We're already done. I'm going to tap my screen, and we're here. We're sitting here on, what is it, 18 center? I can't even remember already. But we're sitting here. This is the aircraft, and again, guys, this is what you get. This is without an Infinite Flight Pro subscription. This is the main thing I want to show you guys, what you get without the Infinite Flight Pro subscription, because later I'm going to show you what you get with the Infinite Flight Pro subscription. All right, so obviously, I'm not going to do a whole full walkthrough of how the UI looks and stuff like that. This is not what this video is about. But again, I want to show you guys what is here. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of I'm going to calibrate our screen here. And we're just going to take off. And we'll get in the air, and we'll see what we're looking like. I'm sorry, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. All right, so see, no smoking sounds going to go on. Seatbelt sounds going to go on. All the lights are already on. And gear is good. We'll go flaps 2. Oh yeah. Altitude, we're gonna set that to 12,000 because that is how I do it. And then that's about it. All right, cool. Let's get that off of the screen. And all right, power up. All right, airspeed is live and rolling. All right, so like I said, we're just gonna get up in the air and probably do a circle or something just so you guys can see what the scenery looks like in the regions that you'll be restricted in if you do not buy the Infinite Flight Pro subscription. Alright, that should be rotate right there. I'm gonna angle my screen up for takeoff. I'm gonna try. Okay, there it is. I rotated very late there. Positive climb, gear up. I'm gonna hit the altitude button and heading button just to kind of turn autopilot on, just so that we can get a look outside. This is not a flight. This is about what it looks like. So here we go. As you see, as we're close to the ground, the scenery is, it looks, first impression of it looks a bit blurry. Now that's gonna happen because Infinite Flight has basically put, I guess you could say, HD scenery all over the globe, but it looks a bit more HD when you're higher up. So when you're on the ground, maybe on approach, or maybe doing some VFR stuff, or if you're real close to the ground like we are right now, we're only at like 1,200 MSL. It's not gonna look, that detailed. I mean, if you're from the Amsterdam area, you probably can't even recognize the buildings around us. But as we climb, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a pretty steep climb here just to show you an example. Alright, so basically, like I said, as you can see, as we're getting higher, the quality of the scenery looks to be getting better just because we're seeing it from farther away. It's just like as if you were looking at a picture on Facebook or something like that. If you made that picture massive, it probably would look like crap. But when you put it back down to screen size, it looks good. Hopefully that's a good example. But as you can see, once you get pretty high up, I mean, we're only at 8,000 feet now. And for the majority of people who play this game or fly on this flight sim, however you like to say it, you're going to be doing, flights from A to B, probably going up to 30,000 feet pretty often. I mean, 90% of the time when I do a flight, I'm flying, 30,000 feet or above. You know what I'm saying? So the quality is pretty good when you're up there. So like when I fly from my hometown to LA, like I'm loving this scenery because it just looks so good. I mean, look how beautiful that looks. So anyways, we are in the Amsterdam region, and again, this is the default scenery. Now I will go ahead and put this out there. Now there are a few regions, or I shouldn't say a few. There are some regions on the globe that are not yet HD scenery. At this moment, there is no HD scenery for Southern America, or South America, I should say. Now there's still scenery there. Like we could still fly there. Now this is with a pro subscription. Now you still could fly to Brazil or to Argentina, wherever. It just, the scenery is just very blurry. That's what it is. Now also, the southern half of Africa is also not in HD scenery like we just saw. So you can still fly to anywhere on the globe. The airports are still there. Everything is there except the HD scenery. It's just a lot more blurry. It's just very blurry. That's basically what it is. So now we have two more options on the bottom. We have fly online and air traffic control. Now the cool thing about Infinite Flight, and my favorite thing, this is the whole reason that I personally even have the game or a simulator, is I love flying online. I love air traffic control. Now this is what sets Infinite Flight apart from any other mobile simulator that is out there. There are no built-in legit air traffic control, no legit flying online. So again, I will show you guys what that looks like. But as of right now, until you get an Infinite Flight Pro subscription, or until you sign in and at least get a month, you will see sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google, or no sign up. Air traffic control, the same thing, because these are both multiplayer. So you have to have an Infinite Flight Pro subscription to access multiplayer. And when you get the Infinite Flight subscription, you also get all the aircraft that we saw here. So basically with the subscription, you get everything Infinite Flight has to offer. All the aircraft, old and new, all the aircraft that have not come out yet. If you have a subscription, you still get to fly those aircraft. There's no extra charge for new aircraft when they are released if you already have the Pro subscription. And also the same with the globe. It doesn't matter if they add more HD scenery to the globe, you will still have access to it because you have the Pro subscription. All right, so let's talk about how much does Infinite Flight Pro cost. So first of all, when you first buy Infinite Flight on your app store or whatever, it's going to cost you $4.99 USD. That is the first initial price just to download the game in general. And that's going to cover basically I think it's about 10, 12, 13 aircraft that you do get included in that, with that, which is the Airbus that I talked about earlier, also the 737-700 and a bunch of other aircraft. Also, you get those regions you get to fly in. All that is included in that. That's what you get for that. That's a one-time payment. You never have to pay that again. You have that for life. So also, They have 3 plans that you can do subscriptions. This is required for you to play multiplayer or for you to be an air traffic controller on any other servers. So that's going to be, there's 3 options. There's a 1 month, there's 6 months, and 12 months. The 1 month option, obviously, is going to be $9.99 per month. So basically, with that price right there, $9.99 per month. Now, if you only were to do 1 month just to give it a try, that's going to include everything that Infinite Flight has to offer. That's going to include the entire globe, all the airports. You can fly anywhere you want. You can do all the long hauls. You can do all the short hauls, VFR, fighter jet, whatever it is you want to do with Infinite Flight. You can do all of that with $9.99 per month. That's also going to include all the future releases. So if within that month, if you have, if you're still within your month, and they release a brand new airplane, you can fly that new airplane with no extra charge. And the same with if they add more HD scenery, you can still fly with the new HD scenery. Whatever updates come are all going to be included with that price. There's no additional payment. That's going to be all included, all inclusive basically for $9.99. Also, the next option is going to be 6 months subscription, which is going to be $49.99. So basically, you're going to be paying for a half a year, $49.99, and you don't have to worry about updating or repaying for Infinite Flight again for 6 months. The next one is a year, 12 months, which is going to be $79.99, which is basically about the best deal. For $79.99, it's about $6.66. It's about $6.66 per month. The 6 months subscription is going to have you at about $8.33 per month, and the 1 month is going to have you at about $9.99 and still $9.99 per month. And these prices may change with the life of this video. They may go up, they may go down, who knows. I can't predict what they do. Again, I do not work for them. I don't know, I don't have any inside link to get to know any more information. I'm just telling you guys what I know and what for you to expect when you get it. Now, a lot of people might get upset, like, hey, I've already paid freaking $4.99 for this game. You're gonna maybe pay a whole nother subscription? Well, that's where the conflict happens. Now it's up to you. Do you feel like it's worth it? And that's part of the reason I'm making this video, because I know a lot of people are like, well, I bought the game, but I don't have a pro subscription, so I can't fly with my friends. I can't join into the Blue Game streams. I can't do all those things. I can't do group flights that they post on the forums. Because you don't have the subscription. Now it's up to you. Again, do you feel like it's worth it? And I'm going to try to show you guys what the game has to offer, what you can do, and if you feel like it's worth it, I can't say that it's worth it. So to me, what I feel is worth it is different than what you feel is worth it. Maybe you have a job, maybe you don't have a job, whatever. If it's worth it, is all relative to you and your own situation. So anyway, those are the prices, and that's how much it's going to cost you for Infinite Flight. And all right, now we're going to take a look at what does it look like once you get the pro subscription. We've talked about how much it costs. We've talked about what you get in the initial, download of the game without pro, and now we're going to talk about what it's like to play Infinite Flight or fly on Infinite Flight with a pro subscription. So I'm going to give you a live example. It is Friday Night Flight. Friday Night Flight is a flight that Infinite Flight kind of sponsors each week. Basically, there's going to be almost guaranteed to be ATC at specific airports because it's kind of like an event type of week or day, I should say. So today, once you get beyond the home screen and you click on Fly Online, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see your aircraft, just like we saw in solo mode. You're going to see your airport just like we saw in solo mode. Then you're going to see your servers. I click on server. Infinite Flight currently has 3 servers, and the first server you're going to be greeted with is going to be to casual and training. Now, casual and training server, I'm not going to go into a bunch about what those are, but basically that's where you start. And until you get up to grade 3, and the way that you get to grade 3 is to get XP by flying and doing landings and getting experience. Then once you get to grade 3, you can go and fly on expert server, and it's just kind of like a more mature server with people who are a little bit more serious about aviation and things like that. So and the ATC is a bit better. So I'm not going to go too much into that, but we will be flying on expert server for this example. We're going to be at San Francisco for the Friday Night Flight event that's going on right now. As you can see, all the little green heads are all the little places that there are ATC coverage, and all the ATC are actual people. All right, these are people. It's going to sound like a robot voice or whatever, but it's an actual person directing people around. So there's a whole system where there's an ATC, there's a person playing as the tower controller, and you're playing as the pilot, and he's telling you to do this and that. So you're going to hear what all that sounds like. So I'm just going to show you real quick. I'm going to be doing the full flight, but I'm not going to be showing the full flight. I'm just going to do a few clips here and there to kind of show you what traffic looks like. what the scenery looks like, and what the whole experience kind of looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit fly. It's gonna take us to the loading screen, which is actually pretty fast on my phone. I'm playing again on the iPhone 10, so now we have the tap screen to calibrate. That way, you know, my phone is calibrated, so when I move around, because it's all tilt, you know, when I move around, that'll work. You can also plug in a joystick. If you, I don't use my joystick currently. I just have not got it to work like I wanted to yet. But you can plug in a joystick and make a joystick work with Infinite Flight. All right, so now we're sitting here at the gate. All right, so as you can hear, it's very busy here in San Francisco. There's aircraft everywhere, and this is kind of what you know can expect on Infinite Flight. I mean, on a training server, it can be even more busy because it's a bit more access to the training server and casual servers. But you can hear a lot going on right now. I'm actually flying with a friend of mine. He's me flying also Virgin America A320. I'll be headed for a flight. It's going to be about a little bit less than a 2-hour flight from here to Seattle, Washington. And so I want to go ahead and I'm going to hit the button here. I'm just going to get started and get...
American 777, runway 28 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 28 left. American 777.
All right, we're up next.
San Francisco Tower, Blue 116.
Watching
ready for takeoff at runway 1
watching him take off there.
Departing north. Blue 116. Line up and wait. Runway 1 left. Line
We've been told by ATC to line up and wait.
Blue 116. Romeo Yankee Romeo 06. Say intentions. 1 left. Cleared for immediate takeoff. Cleared for takeoff.
Alright, we've been cleared for immediate takeoff. I'll go ahead and start rolling here on runway 1 left in San Francisco.
Line up and wait. Runway 1 left. Line up and wait. Runway 1 left. Foxtrot Alpha Lima Charlie Oscar.
Have a 3-knot wind behind us. Not much of a crosswind. Should not be a factor.
V1. Rotate.
Right, rotate.
Echo November Foxtrot Juliet Tango.
Not bad. Positive climb gear up.
Echo November Foxtrot Juliet Tango. Contact San Francisco ground.
Try to run fly runway heading here.
Contacting San Francisco ground.
Contact NorCal departure.
Echo November Foxtrot Juliet Tango.
As I try to keep the aircraft in control.
Blue 116. Contact NorCal departure.
Switching on autopilot.
120.9er.
Oh, flaps to 1, and we'll request flight following to Seattle, Tacoma.
Blue 116. Blue 116 is 1 nautical miles northeast of San Francisco at 2,200.
All right, we've been instructed to proceed on course to Seattle, Tacoma. Goodbye, San Francisco. Beautiful. We'll acknowledge that. Go ahead and hit nav mode, which is another thing that I love about, in a recent update, Infinite Flight has added a nav mode, which is basically LNAV if you play X-Plane. So basically the aircraft, once it gets to the waypoint, it will fly on its own to the next waypoint, all the way until the end of your flight plan. It would not connect you to like an ILS and fly you down. So basically you have to you know, control at some point, but you can fly an ILS approach, which is pretty cool. Lap 0. And just so you know, guys, those extra sounds you hear in the background, like the V1, V2 rotate, the cabin announcements, that is actually a Infinite Flight add-on. There's another add-on called Infinite Passenger that you can get. So if you look around us, man, the San Francisco scenery looks beautiful. Now you can see this exact same scenery if you were flying on solo, because we are still actually at the moment inside of the San Francisco region, which is a region that does come with you know, Infinite Flights without the Pro subscription. But you would not be able to continue your flight all the way out to Seattle like we're doing today, because you would not be able to leave the region. You can fly in and around the San Francisco region. There's a bunch of airports out here around San Francisco you can fly to, including Oakland. I mean, it's a pretty good. I mean, you can probably make a good like 30 to 45 minute flight out of it with the region. region around San Francisco, but you would not be able to fly any farther than that. So, but like I said, with Solo and with Pro, you got the exact same scenery. Everything looks the same. The only difference is you cannot fly with outside of those regions. But once you do have the Pro subscription, you can fly anywhere you want. Also included in the subscription, like I mentioned earlier, is all the aircraft. So you could fly the Airbus, you could fly the A380, whatever you're into, you can fly it. I mean, they have fighter jets, all that type of stuff. It's all included in that Pro subscription, so you do not have to buy each of them separately. Now, if you do not buy the Pro subscription, I believe you do actually have to pay some type of price to get those aircraft. You have to pay for each aircraft separately that are outside of the ones that come with the download. Hopefully I'm explaining that right. So like I said, beautiful, beautiful scenery out here in San Francisco. So we're going to climb all the way up to flight level 300 today for our cruising altitude. And we'll speed up for climb about 295 knots. Matter of fact, we're going to go a bit faster. So like I said, it's very very busy out here right now. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to expect to always see like this at your favorite airport. Now, if you stroll outside of the map, we can only see to how far down? About down to KSB P. You can only see aircraft in your area. All right, you can't, like, I can't see aircraft all the way in Salt Lake City. So as you get closer to Salt Lake City, you would see aircraft in and around Salt Lake City. I don't know what the exact range is, but there's a range that you can see around your aircraft, and outside that range you can't see them. So when I scroll out, like over to, I don't know, to Paris, I don't see anything over there. Well, I'm not going to be able to see aircraft at in Paris unless I am in Paris or near Paris. And ATC just told us to frequency change. So we're going to acknowledge that handoff, send, and go ahead and tell them thank you and good day.
Good day. Thank you. Good day. Blue 116.
But like I was saying, don't expect every single day for it to be crazy busy at San Francisco and Seattle. Alright, I don't want you guys to think that it's just like crazy busy everywhere you go. Again, this is an event day. Like, Friday Night Flight is an event, a weekly event that Infinite Flight does. So outside of that, it still gets pretty busy. They, on Expert Server, they actually organize for ATC to be at specific regions each day. So if you fly within that region, you'll probably get some really good traffic. Now, if you're flying at maybe your favorite airport, and it's not the most popular airport in the world, you may not see any other aircraft around you for another 50 miles or whatever. So it's kind of like, I like to compare it to X-Plane on VATSIM. It's like all the most popular airports are always pretty, busy. Like LAX is usually almost always an aircraft leaving or flying into LAX. Places like London Heathrow, there's always somebody there, because those are really popular airports. People do a lot of long hauls from those type of airports. But there are events, there's on the forums, there's different virtual airlines. I mean, there's lots of opportunities to see traffic. You can meet other people. You could always join my Discord and do group flights with the people in my Discord. They're always flying somewhere. So, but yeah, I just don't want you guys to think that it's just always going to be crazy busy. So, if we go over here, we're going to find our aircraft right here. We're passing flight level 240 now. Aircraft is flying the GPS. And we're headed to Seattle. Alright, so we're cruising at about flight level 300, that's 30,000 feet, going about Mach 0.82, and we're about 500 nautical miles away from our destination, Seattle, Tacoma, Washington. And let's talk about some of the things that I don't like about Infinite Flight. We've talked a lot about the things that I enjoy, that I like. I mean, obviously the scenery is beautiful. I mean, if you're watching this video, you've probably seen some of my other videos and some of my other streams, and you've seen the beauty and how, like, I drool over the beautiful scenery that we see here. But let's talk about a few things that I am not so fond of, some things that I don't really enjoy about Infinite Flight. The first thing we'll say is I do not like the scenery in places like South America There's a few places around the globe, and I'm going to put that on the screen for you guys. But there's a few places around the globe. You can still fly there. There's airports, taxiways, all that stuff. You can still fly there, to and from there, like if it's your home city, but it's not in the HD scenery coverage zone. You can still fly out there, to and from, but the scenery just doesn't look as great. It's kind of blurry and fuzzy and all that stuff, and it's not great. It's very disappointing, that's for sure. So definitely look at that map that I put on the screen, and you know, if you live inside of one of those areas, you may want to, you know, I don't know. It's up to you. It's going to be a decision that you need to make, whether or not you still, I know, if that's make it or break it for you. And that's the first one. And I know that as time goes by, the developers of Infinite Flight are planning on adding more and more scenery, and I am looking forward to that, because places like Brazil, South America, Southern Africa, places like that, like I would love to fly to those places. But I usually tend to not go there, because I just don't, you know, I mean, look at the scenery we're looking at now compared to that. You know, it doesn't compare. So. Another thing that I don't, another thing is not my favorite about Infinite Flight is, this. Now let's remember that this is a mobile game. All right, this is a mobile game, and that means a mobile game is you know, is access to almost everyone, and so there's a lot of immature people who play or fly on Infinite Flight. Now a lot of the community is great. The community of Infinite Flight is great. Like don't get me wrong. I love the community of Infinite Flight. They're so supportive, loving. I mean, it's a great community, a very active community currently. But there's still those people out there who are very immature, and I think that goes with any game, especially a mobile game that you play, that you're gonna definitely find some immature people. And so those are that's one of the things that's really hurts this game. And that's why they created the expert server, to try to fish out those type of people. So that's why I usually only fly expert server, because usually you find more mature people who are more serious about flying and more serious about aviation, people who want to be a little bit more realistic. You know, when you go on training server, on casual server, you see a lot of people cutting people in line in traffic, taxiing through others, taking off from the taxiway, spawning inside of you, like all those things, trolling, you know, all those types of things. They happen all the time. They still happen on expert server, but just not as much. All right. But that's one thing that's a huge thing that really bugs me. And I know it's not Infinite Flight's fault. They do their best to create a system and create a server that kind of doesn't allow those type of people to join. But there's still, I mean, there's no way you can get rid of all the trolls. So that's one thing I don't really enjoy about Infinite Flight. Another thing that it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing at the same time. And the reason I say that is, and I'm talking about violations and ghosts. So Infinite Flight, it has a system of violations and ghosts. So if you have a certain amount of violations, you cannot fly on the expert server, which is a server that everybody kind of strives to fly on, because again, it's more realistic. It's you know, it's better. ATC is better. Everything's better about expert server. But yeah, so it's violations and ghosts. So let's talk about violations really quick. Violations are basically, if I were to be flying right now and my Airbus, I think the top speed is, I'm not 100% sure what it is. I think it's like, let's take a look in the cockpit real quick. Yes, if I can't go any faster than 300 and about 15 indicated airspeed right now, or I'll get, or my aircraft will be overspeeding. And if I do that, then I get a violation. Actually, you get a couple warnings and then you get a violation, but it happens very fast, and that's the part that I want to get to, is how fast it is. It's not very forgiving. So if for whatever reason you decide to do a long haul flight and you fall asleep and you set your auto throttle or your speed to right below that, and you get caught in some turbulence, or maybe you decide to descend your aircraft and you fall asleep during descent, which has happened to me multiple times, and you end up under 10,000 feet, which the rule is under 10,000 feet you are not supposed to fly faster than 250 knots. That is a real life thing. And you get caught speeding down there, you will get violations. It's just very easy to get violations on the game. Once you get it, you can understand more about the violations and watch out for them. And as far as Ghost, I don't really have any complaints about Ghost, but ATC, usually when you're flying in a specific airspace, ATC can can give you like what they call a ghost. Basically what happens when you get ghosted is you can still see everybody else, but they can't see you, and you will not get any XP for that flight, and you have a ghost on your infinite flight record, which will also kick you out of expert server. You will not be able to fly expert server when you have a certain amount of ghost, and same for violations. So now those are good things though, because those fish out the trolls and the immature people and people who are not really serious about flying. But at the same time, it's so easy to get caught up in those things. Even if you're somebody who's experienced, you just make one small mistake and boom, you're out. So it's kind of a good and a bad thing. So I don't think they should change it, but I'm just letting you guys know. Yeah, I've had my own issues with that in the past. Alright, so one other thing that I am not so in favor of Infinite Flight for is that the cockpit is actually not clickable. Now, Infinite Flight calls itself a flight simulator. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny that, but I know a lot of people who come from the simulator community, they want to actually, click on all the buttons. So if you're an Airbus, if you're an Airbus fan, you're coming from X-Plane or something like that, or P3D or FSX, you're going to want to go around and click all these buttons, and you can't click any of the buttons. At the time I made this video, none of these buttons are clickable. I know that in the future they are working on making them clickable, so Infinite Flight is still a pretty young game. It has a long way to go. So, I mean, I completely personally believe in them, and I know they're going to make a lot of changes and make, it's going to be a whole different app next year, and this video probably won't even be valid anymore. But as far as the cockpit goes, the cockpits are very high quality. They're great quality. They look great. Depending on what aircraft you're in, some aircraft do not have as great quality cockpits or night lighting or anything like that. It depends on what plane you fly. It kind of varies. In the Airbus, it has night lighting, so as it gets dark, you'll see the controls light up. And then if you're flying a Boeing 737-800, you will not see any lights in the cockpit. But that's just how it is until they update all the cockpits to be a little bit better. Now, the throttle, it does move. We won't see it move right now because I have the auto throttle on, so it's, we're in cruise right now, so not much is happening. Also, you'll see, I believe the trim, we'll see it right there, you see it moving. The trim will move up and down as needed. Also, you have a flap switch that also does animate. So there are a few animated parts inside of the cockpit, like the throttle, the flap lever, and I believe the gear lever also will move. But all these buttons are not. You cannot click all these buttons, and even the radar doesn't move. So I mean, you can't look there. So you kind of have to have the HUD on. And that's something I don't like, is that I have to have the HUD on the fly, because I get used to flying without it. But on Infinite Flight, you do have to have it on, or you don't have to. You could try landing it without it. That's up to you. One cool thing while we're down here though is it does show us our VLE, VLOW, and VFE speeds and stuff like that, which is really cool. And so only certain aircraft have that feature. So that is a cockpit. I'm excited. I like them. It doesn't bother me too much. But again, that's up to you to decide what your opinion on is. Does that make it or break it for you? Do you want clickable cockpits? Do you have to have clickable cockpits? Does that outweigh something else that Infinite Flight does or doesn't do? Another thing that I'll mention that Infinite Flight does not do is as you look outside, I mean, there are no clouds currently. Now again, I'm talking about currently, as this video is made in the early 2018. There are no clouds, but there will be fog. So if you looked in some of my videos, you'll see that we fly through fog, like really low fog, which kind of looks like clouds, which looks amazing. But you will not find clouds or contrails or wheel smoke, anything like that on Infinite Flight at the moment. But I do know, like I said, the developers are working on it, and they do want that in the future of Infinite Flight. So maybe if you don't, if that breaks it for you right now, like, well, I don't really want to fly Infinite Flight if it doesn't have clouds, but later on when they add clouds, maybe you'll change your mind. It's up to you. Like I said, it's up to you whether you think it is worth it. Another thing we'll talk about, if you notice when we first took off early on in the flight, there were no terminals. There are no 3D objects on Infinite Flight yet either. A lot of the other mobile sims already have that, but they don't have a globe worth of scenery. You know what I mean? So it's up to you. You have to kind of compare and contrast. It's the hard thing is that Infinite Flight doesn't have like a demo version, a trial version for you to try out, except for the original download for $5. But it's tough. I mean, the best way is just to watch live streams, watch other people's YouTube videos to kind of see, is this something you can see yourself playing and enjoying for a long time? Obviously, with no 3D objects, there's no animated traffic on the ground as far as cars. There's no trees, things like that. The seasons don't change, things like that. There's none of that inside Infinite Flight currently yet. But I feel like that the developers are probably working on that in the future. But I'm very excited for the future of Infinite Flight. It has a lot of potential, a lot of things that it's missing that I feel like once it's added, it's going to make it a whole new game. I mean, I've been playing this game since before it had all these beautiful HD scenery, you know, so I definitely appreciate everything I can get from Infinite Flight. Alright, so another thing that I don't like about Infinite Flight is there are certain aircraft that are very, very low quality. I know that Infinite Flight has actually been around for a little while now. I think it came in 2011 or so. So some of the aircraft that they first released are still on the game and are still at that horrible quality that came out back then. And so I believe they're going through and trying to update a lot of the aircraft from back then. Like the 757 looks horrible. Along with the 767, and I'll talk about the interior. The exterior actually doesn't look too bad, but the interior looks pretty bad. The CRJ, there's a new one coming out, but the old CRJ looked pretty bad. So that's one of my other complaints about Infinite Flight. It's just that some of maybe your favorite aircraft might not look as good as you wanted to, but like I said, they're going through and making it look a bit better. With the newer aircraft that came out, you can see the quality that they're going for. When you fly into like the C-130, I mean that cockpit looks amazing. There's there's another co-pilot sitting in there with you. When you fly the MD-11 freighter or the KC-10, things like that, the quality of those aircraft are so good, and so I'm hoping that they'll go back and fix up those older aircraft, because a lot of people, like for example me, I love the CRJ. I love the 757, the 767, those older aircraft, and I would love to see a better quality version of that re-released. So that's not something else about Infinite Flight that I do not like all that much. And I think that's about all I'm going to put on my list for now about things that I do not like about Infinite Flight. But, I mean, there's other things I just can't remember right now. But the game still has a long way to go. Remember, this is a mobile app. Not only does the app have a long way to go, but do phones also have a long way to go. So don't forget about that. A lot of things people ask about, they can just get from a PC game. Alright guys, we have just reached our top of descent, and we just passed over Portland, Oregon on our arrival into Seattle. We just contacted Seattle Approach, and they've been giving us vectors for the 16 right approach, and we have a heading of 010. That's what we're doing right now. Send it down to 22,000 feet. And, yeah, and descending down to 15,000.
Turn right heading 350 Tango Romeo India Oscar feet.
So right now we're on arrival in Seattle. As you can see, we're the white aircraft right here. Another aircraft off our right wing. He's about 4,000 feet below us. We're at 9,000 feet, by the way. We have approach online. We've been vectored to land at runway 16 right. You can see a lot of aircraft on the ground here. It looks like they're using 16 left for departure and 16 right and 16 center for arrival. Have quite a bit of arrivals out, a lot of aircraft in the airspace. So you can see aircraft leaving and aircraft arriving. So hoping for a good landing here, as usual. See what ATC is telling us. Descend down to 4,000 feet. Yes, sir.
Echo Yankee is 9 nautical miles southwest of Martha Lake at 4,000 feet. Requesting Isles of Protor .9er.
Kind of look out the window. See that the visibility is getting lower and lower as we get down. We are using a little bit of spoilers to keep our speed down. We're making an expedited descent here. It's very busy, so you want to definitely be where they want you to be as soon as possible. But you look out the window, now you can see that fog that I mentioned earlier. Look at that. Spoilers off now. But really, whenever that fog comes in, it really makes the game feel really immersive. And it adds so much to it. Like, see that mountain we were flying by earlier is now half covered. Cloud cover or fog cover, whatever you want to call it. So we're probably going to have a low visibility approach here in Seattle based on the METAR data.
Seattle approach, Redwood 20,2500 until established on the
Alright, turn left heading 230.
Frequency change approved November 397 Alpha Kilo. Good day. Delta 1118.
Getting ready to turn final in Seattle.
Maintain 4,000. Descend and maintain 4,000. Delta 1118. Descend and maintain 3,000. Alaska 739. Blue 116. Turn left heading 230. Alaska 68, descend and maintain 2,500. Descend and maintain 2,500, Alaska 68. Foxtrot 607 Sierra Delta Sherper, expects vectors for the Isles approach runway 16 center at Seattle Tacoma. Foxtrot 607 Sierra Delta Sherper, turn right heading 020, descend and maintain 13,000. Redwood 1284, turn right heading 110.
I don't quite see the airport just yet.
Ascot 4417, Roger.
Really is not great. Alright, there it is. Turn left heading 190, down to 3,500. Oops, too much.
Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo 1, altitude at your discretion.
Knowledge down to 3,500 till we get established on the localizer.
5 Charlie Delta Sierra 55. November 8
I'll head back on so we can see.
Request frequency change. Alaska 68, turn left heading 240. Blue 116, turn left heading 190, descend and maintain 3,500.
Arm our spoilers.
Maintain 3,500.
Landing lights are on, all the lights are on.
Cleared aisles runway 16 right approach. Turn left heading 190, descend and maintain 3,500. Maintain 3,500 until
yeah, we ready to land this baby.
Cleared aisles runway 16 right. Direction, stand by. 25 Charlie Delta Sierra 55.
I believe that's Boeing Field we're flying over right now. Very rocky. We're gonna go flaps 4 and speed down 140 knots. That'll be our landing configuration for today.
Runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Seattle Tacoma Tower, Alaska 439, ready for takeoff at runway 16 left, departing north. Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 left. Redwood.
You already see in the distance. Look at that, parallel landings. So dope.
Heavy. Line up and wait. Runway 16.
So basically, once you switch on to approach mode, you can actually let the aircraft land itself if you like. It's kind of like an auto land feature. And that's a screenshot because, you know, I can't help myself. Trying to get a really cool screenshot of us in that parallel approach over there, landing at 16 center, it looks like. I think he had to go around. I don't see him anymore.
25 Charlie Delta Sierra 55, cross runway 16.
You can see like our speed is going crazy because there's actually gusts in the area.
Contact Seattle approach on 120.1. Contacting
Yo,
Seattle.
landing in Seattle, runway 16 right.
Redwood 318. Seattle Tacoma Tower, Alaska 739, inbound on the ILS, runway 16 center, crossing runway 16 left, 25, number 2, cleared to land, runway 16 center, Alaska 739. Charlie Delta Sierra 55, contact Seattle Tacoma ground on 121.7. Delta 5555 heavy, runway 16.
I'm just gonna let it auto land and show you guys the auto land.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 16 left. Delta 5555 heavy. Alaska 439.
First thrust, manual braking, disengaging autopilot.
Thank you. Delta 55.
Make this first taxiway. Not that one, but the next one that actually pulls us off.
Alaska 439.
And we're here. Let it roll down the runway. Exit right here. And hold short, I assume 16 center.
Runway 16 left. Alpha Sierra Alpha 310. Hold short of runway 16 center. Holding short runway 16 center. Alpha Sierra Alpha 310.
Here past the hold short line. And welcome to Seattle Tacoma, guys. Like I said, it's up to you. What you think? I mean, if you think it's worth it, it's up to you. I can't say that it's worth it for me. You know, obviously I'm playing it, so it must be worth it because I am playing it. I didn't get a free copy, anything like that. Like I said, I'm not getting paid. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I just want to show you guys, you know, what it's like to have pro, what it's like to not have pro, what you get. Oh, and somebody just wrecked. That's what that is. Somebody crashed. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys what it's like, you know, to get a pro subscription and really just be real with you guys and be like, hey, this is what you get, this is what you don't get, this and that, you know. So hopefully this video helps you guys. Definitely put a like on the video, hit the sub button if you like. And remember, you got 3 choices: give up, give in, or give it all you got. Peace, love, and God bless you. Enjoy your stay in Seattle, and I hope I see you in the friendly skies of Infinite Flight. See you later.